So I wasn't expecting actually to really enjoy this show as much as I was going to think like that. So we're going to be talking about Servamp like that, which combining the servant and the vampire in it. And wow, I've probably seen like the most laziest Sam. I thought Stas from Bloodladder was pretty lazy, but nah, this motherfucker Kuro, pretty lazy, but I ain't gonna lie, him and Mahiro are pretty badass together, I ain't gonna lie. So I said it in my live reaction of the opening, but Jesus Christ, I gotta say it again, because it's just like, that opening's like the most metalist thing ever, and then you see the ending, and they're like, all dancing, happy clappy, even like the bad guys, and I'm like, okay, it's weird, but honestly, it's something you should check out, definitely, like I say, go on that video, and just see where I'm just, my face just goes like, fucking upwards, like that, saying that. So our main character is Mahiro, who has a very strange mentality. It's like, oh, a lot of people feel like, you know, oh, this is troublesome, or this is that, but he will do it in the end. He's like, oh, if someone don't want to do it, I'll fucking do it. It's like the troublesome. Meanwhile, we'll see Kuro, who's the complete other opposite until we see later in the episode, and it's like, we get to hear, like, like early on, it's like, hey, there's rumors around that vampires are going around, like, you know, there's some shit going up with here, like that, and it's just like, fuck that, I don't believe no vampires. But he picked up a little cat, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna call you Kuro, put a little bell around your neck and all that. I think you're a little cute and all that, little scraggly cat like that. And it's like, you know, because what happened, like the main reason he took him in is that his uncle took him in since his mother died in a car accident, and it was like, no, everyone else was talking, saying like, well, I can't take him in, I can't take, you know, it's a child, you know, that, like, and do that, and his uncle was like, fuck it, I'll do it like that, because you know what, no one else is going to step up to the plate, so I am, and it's just like, you know, it's annoying if no one else does like that, so it's like, I kind of respected that with his like uncle, although seemingly since Mahiro's on his own, I'm guessing the dude's like dead, so we didn't really get an explanation of that, because all we heard is that the mother's dead, so we don't know if like the uncle's disappeared, dead, evil, or whatever the hell's going on. If like it could be one of those three options, or like he's missing, he's dead, or he's evil. Like they're normally the three options. I was kind of surprised actually that the show is an actual shoujo, and you start noticing it after a while like that, because it had a bunch of pretty boy characters, and there's certain ways how the characters act with one another and all that, like there's a certain way like how they do it. But however, though, we do find out with like Kuro, though, he actually turned into a vampire, into like the blue head kind of cool guy that we see from like the opening, and it finds out it's like, you know, vampires don't actually in the sunlight die, but what happens instead, they seemingly turn into like a different kind of form, like we saw with like that guy with like that weird jokester looking, magician looking guy, like he turned into a puppet. So I'm guessing this happens with like a bunch of people, like with him, he turns into a cat, and he's just like, I don't give a fuck, I'm just lazy. But however, he said his name like in a human form, like from what we saw there, and then that like was able to make a contract, and it was like, oh, in the next, like, if I don't drink your blood in the next 24 hours and all that, it'll be cancelled. But certain situations where it's like, okay, this magician guy's like decided to attack one of Mahiro's friends, and then shit kicked off. And seeing that is like, I really did like that. It was just like, Mario was like, no, that you're gonna be lazy and all that. I'm gonna save my friends and all that. Fuck you, Kuro, if you're just gonna be lazy. Although he did boot him, and then he just like ran, and it was just going around. And he's like, no, he's trying to hold back the vampire, looking like he's trying to break his neck or something. He's trying to hold him back. He's like, yo, just I want to get my friends out of here and all that. He's doing that, and it was like, no. At least like Kuro came back. He was like, alright, I'll sort this out and all that, and he's like, you know, like, the main reason I'm weak and all that is, like, because I ain't taken the, like, blood in 100 years, and he's like, fucking fine. He just shoves his whole arm in his, like, mouth, and it's just like, yeah, just drink that, and he was like, and that transformed him, like, having, like, these weird, like, kind of, like weird looking, like, claws, like, I don't even know what to say, because they're not metallic, they're just, like, kind of remind me of like a Kagune from like Tokyo Ghoul. Like it kind of reminded me of something like that. And then also as well having this chain around side with like Mahiro as well. So it's like pretty much keeping like his servant on a leash. And it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like they have to like anything that goes with the servant and all that, you know, the vampire has to like, you know, obey. And that's the kind of rule about it. And like other than that, we had set up for like supposedly the big villain of like the season and all that. I like the guy with the glasses. So I'm kind of curious like what the hell his whole deal with. Like he seemingly has a huge issue with like Kuro, so I'm kind of curious of where exactly that's going to be going out. But yeah, definitely see like, you know, that the Mahiro and Kuro are like complete polar opposites of one another. One that's like, oh, I can't be asked to do that, I'm too lazy. That's exactly what Mahiro hates about people like doing that. And then obviously it's the example is with Mahiro, like, oh, I hate him for doing that, and Kuro hates him for that. And it's just like, oh, let's see how these two people with their like polar opposites of each other are going to get along, you know, that kind of little trope there. But regardless of what, I thought it was really fun and all that, like this being done by Brain Base, so I was like, okay, I don't see many Brain Bases like shows, but I was like, okay, they actually had some solid animation. There was a good amount of comedy in the series. I know a little bit about the manga. I had the little manga's decent, so I'm looking forward to like this. I don't know if I'm gonna keep up with this doing like this seasonal reviews, but I thought it was fine. I generally thought it was enjoyable for what it is and all that. But that, I would get like a 7. I'd say it's a 7. I think it was a good, solid episode. I think like you're not going to be blown away if you've like seen other shows before about vampires or anything like that. But definitely, regardless of what, I think it was still an enjoyable show nonetheless. So let me know what you guys think about Servamp. If you enjoyed it in the comment section down below. But that's all from me. Thank you much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys though next time.